According to Bloomberg's Mark Gurman, supply chain analyst Ming-Chi Kuo, and late 2025 leaks from Macworld and Instant Digital, Apple is preparing the 8th generation iPad mini for a Q3 or late 2026 release. Key confirmed rumors include the transition to an 8.3 or 8.4-inch OLED display to replace the current LCD, resolving the infamous jelly scrolling issue. The device is expected to be powered by the A18 Pro chip, or an equivalent next-gen A-series silicon, featuring 8GB of RAM to fully support on-device Apple Intelligence. Upgrades to Wi-Fi 7, Bluetooth 6, and a revamped thermal management system are also widely anticipated. While the overarching design remains identical to the 2021 redesign, the premium components may drive the starting price up from $499 to roughly $599. Picture this: you love the compact tablet form factor, but every single time you pick it up to read an article, scroll through a feed, or watch a movie in the dark, you immediately notice the washed-out blacks and that infamous jelly scrolling effect. For years, Apple's smallest tablet has been treated like the forgotten middle child of the lineup, deeply loved by its dedicated users, but seemingly neglected by its own makers. But what if I told you the narrative is about to flip entirely? The upcoming next-generation iPad mini is finally getting the one massive upgrade we have all been begging for since the 2021 redesign, turning it from a quirky, casual consumption device into a pocketable, pro-level powerhouse. The wait is finally paying off, and the changes are fundamentally altering the value of this machine. The small tablet market is a remarkably weird space right now. You have giant, laptop-replacing slabs dominating the premium tier, and incredibly basic, budget-friendly models sitting at the bottom. But the 8-inch form factor? That is prime, undisputed real estate for gamers, pilots, medical professionals, readers, and anyone who simply wants more screen than a smartphone but less weight than a bulky laptop. The previous generation gave us the beautiful, modern redesign we desperately wanted, with the flat edges and USB-C port, and the subsequent minor spec bump added slightly better performance. However, they both shared a rather glaring, fatal flaw: an aging LCD display. In 2026, putting a traditional LCD panel in a premium device feels a lot like selling a high-end sports car with basic cloth seats. Sure, it gets the job done and gets you from point A to point B, but it just feels wrong. Now, everything is changing. The new iPad mini is finally receiving an OLED display, alongside a massive brain transplant to support the future of on-device artificial intelligence. This is no longer just a routine spec bump. It is a complete repositioning of what the Mini is actually supposed to be. Let's dive into exactly what this means for your daily workflow, how it stacks up against the competition, and whether it is actually going to be worth the inevitable price hike. Let's address the elephant in the room right away: that new screen. Upgrading from a standard LCD to a premium OLED panel on an 8.3 or 8.4-inch display is not just about making your favorite movies look a little prettier. Although the true, inky blacks and infinite contrast ratio will absolutely ruin your tolerance for older screens. It is about core, fundamental usability. The previous model suffered from a frustrating visual quirk affectionately known as jelly scrolling, where one half of the screen refreshed slightly slower than the other when held in portrait mode. It created a strange, wobbly effect that drove power users crazy. By migrating to a modern OLED panel assembly, this hardware issue is physically and permanently eliminated. The pixel response times on OLED technology are near instantaneous, meaning your text will remain razor-sharp and perfectly legible whether you are casually reading a novel or aggressively scrolling through a massive PDF document. The biggest debate currently circulating is whether this new panel will be blessed with Apple's 120Hz promotion technology. While the larger Pro models have enjoyed promotion for years, there is a very strong possibility that the Mini stays locked at 60 Hz to maintain strict product segmentation and keep manufacturing costs somewhat grounded. But make no mistake, even a 60 Hz OLED is a colossal leap forward in visual fidelity. If you use your tablet for editing photos in Lightroom, watch ing high dynamic range content, or playing visually demanding games, the leap in color accuracy and dynamic range will be instantly, undeniably noticeable. It essentially transforms the Mini from an average media player into a reference-grade monitor that fits seamlessly into your jacket pocket. Beyond the display technology itself, the physical footprint of the device is expected to remain largely identical to the current generation. Honestly, that is a fantastic thing. The flat, industrial edges, the highly versatile USB-C port, and the magnetic attachment edge for the Apple Pencil are already excellent design choices that do not need fixing. What you will likely notice are slightly slimmer bezels to accommodate that marginally larger active display area, alongside a freshly curated suite of mature color options to keep the aesthetic feeling modern. Under the hood, however, we are expecting a completely redesigned thermal structure. OLED panels and high-end processors generate a significant amount of heat, and packing them into such a confined chassis requires a much smarter cooling solution. A new, advanced graphite heat sink system is highly anticipated, which means your sustained performance during intense gaming sessions or heavy video rendering tasks will not result in aggressive, frustrating thermal throttling. There are also fascinating murmurs about a water-resistant build entering the iPad lineup for the first time, achieved by fundamentally redesigning the speaker grills and sealing the internals. If this turns out to be true, it transforms the Mini into the absolute ultimate rugged companion. Imagine taking it to the pool, mounting it on a boat, or using it out in the field without the constant paranoia of liquid damage. Moving past the exterior, the internal changes are just as aggressive and arguably more important. The entire technology industry is currently entirely obsessed with artificial intelligence, and this device is being built specifically for that reality. For a piece of hardware to run advanced, on-device AI tasks efficiently and privately, it requires two specific things: a remarkably powerful neural engine and plenty of memory. The new iPad mini is expected to leapfrog older, iterative silicon and adopt the flagship A18 Pro chip, the exact same architecture powering the most premium iPhone models, paired with a strictly mandatory 8GB of RAM. This is a massive deal for longevity. Previous iterations were notorious for aggressively closing background apps due to strict memory constraints. With 8GB of RAM, you will not just be holding more applications in memory, you will be entirely future-proofing the device for complex, system-wide Apple Intelligence features. Imagine having your tablet locally summarize long research documents, generate context-aware email replies, or perform complex, layered photo edits entirely on device, without ever phoning home to a cloud server. The A18 Pro brings a massive neural engine capable of handling these heavy tasks instantly and securely. There has been a lot of heated debate online about why Apple continues to utilize A-series chips in the Mini, rather than dropping an M-class chip inside, like they do with the larger Air and Pro models. The reality comes down to basic physics and battery life. An M-class chip is undeniably powerful, but it is engineered with a thermal envelope intended for much larger chassis that can efficiently dissipate heat over a wider surface area. Forcing an M4 chip into an 8-inch body would inevitably result in severe thermal throttling within minutes of heavy use, or a battery that drains significantly faster than you can charge it. The A18 Pro, built on a cutting-edge second-generation 3nm process, is the ultimate compromise. It delivers single-core performance that actually rivals older desktop processors, but it sips power efficiently enough to maintain the Mini's historically promised all-day battery life. Plus, it runs perfectly cool, which is absolutely crucial when you are physically holding the entire back of the device in the palm of your hands for hours on end. You are getting desktop-class efficiency without dealing with desktop-class heat. This kind of raw horsepower in such a small chassis completely changes the overall value proposition. When you compare it to direct Android rivals, like the smaller tablets from Samsung or Lenovo, the performance gap becomes a massive chasm. Those competing devices almost always rely on mid-tier, budget processors, making them perfectly fine for watching YouTube, but entirely inadequate for serious, heavy productivity. The iPad mini, equipped with an A18 Pro and an OLED screen, essentially becomes a portable workstation. You can smoothly edit 4K video streams in professional software, run intensive audio logic sessions, or play console-grade video games with hardware-accelerated ray tracing, all on a device that weighs under 300 grams. Connectivity is also getting a silent but incredibly crucial bump, moving up to the Wi-Fi 7 standard and Bluetooth 6. This translates directly to faster wireless transfer speeds and noticeably lower latency when utilizing wireless peripherals or streaming high-fidelity audio. For the cellular models, the integration of Apple's newly custom-designed wireless chips will ensure much more reliable 5G connections and notably better battery efficiency when you are working entirely off the grid. We should also take a moment to touch on the camera situation. While a tablet this size has never been heavily utilized as a primary photography tool, it absolutely excels as a portable document scanner and a dedicated video calling machine. The company is highly likely to keep the familiar 12-megapixel rear sensor, but they will drastically upgrade the image signal processor tied directly to that new A-series chip. This translates to smarter high dynamic range processing, significantly better low-light document scanning, and much faster autofocus capabilities. On the front side, the 12-megapixel ultra-wide camera will retain the center stage feature, keeping you perfectly framed as you move around your kitchen or office during important calls. What would be a massive, universally praised quality of life improvement, however, is if they finally move the front-facing camera to the landscape edge. They recently did this with the larger tablet lines, acknowledging that most people use these devices horizontally when attached to stands or cases. While the Mini is uniquely and historically suited for portrait use, a landscape camera would beautifully unify the entire lineup and make those long business calls feel significantly more natural, rather than giving your colleagues a weird, off-center view of the side of your face. Let's separate the actual signal from the marketing noise here and talk about what this realistically means for your wallet. You are not going to get OLED display technology and pro-level silicon for free. The baseline device has historically started at $499, which has always felt like a slightly premium price tag for what many consider a secondary, companion device. With the expensive shift to an OLED panel and the increased memory requirements for artificial intelligence, do not be surprised in the slightest to see a noticeable price hike, potentially pushing the absolute base model closer to the $599 mark. So, who is this actually built for? If you just want a cheap, durable screen to hand to your kids in the back seat of the car on a road trip, this is definitely not it. You should absolutely stick to the base model 10th generation iPad. But if you are a pilot needing a hyper-reliable, sunlight-readable display in the cockpit, a professional photographer reviewing vibrant shots on the go, a medical worker carrying vital charts, or just a power user who finds the 11-inch screen too heavy and cumbersome for comfortable one-handed reading on the couch, this specific machine is tailored directly for you. What is truly fascinating about this entire strategy is how it masterfully positions the Mini within the broader hardware ecosystem. It is starting to feel much less like a shrunken-down iPad Air, and significantly more like an iPad Pro Nano. The addition of the OLED screen solves the single biggest, most focal pain point of the previous generations, and the sheer processing headroom guarantees incredible longevity. You are essentially investing in a device that will effortlessly last you 5 to 6 years without breaking a single sweat. It also raises a highly interesting question about the looming future of foldable phones. If a foldable iPhone ever does hit the market, it would theoretically cannibalize this exact demographic. By supercharging the Mini right now, they are boldly solidifying its place as a dedicated, highly premium standalone product category that simply does not need a hinge to be great. It is a highly confident bet on a beloved form factor that commands a fiercely loyal following. To wrap this all up, the upcoming OLED iPad mini is rapidly shaping up to be the absolute most significant, game-changing upgrade in the product's entire history. It directly addresses the fundamental display flaws of the past, brings legitimate, desktop-class processing power straight into the palm of your hand, and sets an entirely new, elevated standard for what a compact tablet can actually achieve. You get the infinite contrast of OLED, the raw, unbridled power of the A18 Pro, and the smartest software features ever shipped, all wrapped in a beautifully refined, potentially water-resistant chassis. Yes, it will very likely cost more, but for the very first time, it genuinely feels like the Mini will truly justify that premium price tag. So, here is the real question for you. Does the long-awaited addition of an OLED screen and pro-level performance make this a day one must-buy for you? Or is a potential $599 price tag just a little too steep for an 8-inch screen? Let me know your honest thoughts down in the comments. I am genuinely curious to see where you all stand on this price-to-performance ratio. If you found this breakdown insightful, drop a like on the video. It seriously helps the channel out more than you know. And make sure to hit that subscribe button so you do not miss our full, exhaustive hands-on review the very second this device drops. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.